Hi everyone, it's Crafbox Christy. It's Trading Card Thursday, Artist Trading Card Thursday. And as most of you know, I am not in town. I am actually with my friends over in Arizona, but I promised you a video, and this card is going to be a quick and easy Easter card, and we're going to be piecing things together today. So come along. Okay, so without me being live, you guys can actually see me doing the card here in front of you, which is kind of a different perspective. So let's get started. I'm going to piece this together just as much as I can. So for this card, we're going to be using some scrap white to work with, some pretty pattern paper. We may even bring in another pretty pattern paper. Obviously, you need your trading card and your glue and what other embellishments you want. We're actually going to be using some of this green yarn. I found this at the bottom of the bin. And then I've had these stamps for forever, you guys. And we're going to be using one of these today. Okay, so if you are new here, welcome on in. I'm so glad you're here, guys. So what we are going to be doing is creating a artist trading card, which is a 2.5 by 3.5. It is basically the size of a playing card, most regulated size playing cards. So you are going to be using the back and the front, and I will show you guys how to do the back. So what I'm going to do first, it doesn't matter which side you start with, but I'm going to flip my paper down, and I am going to put glue around the 4 edges that you see here, just to get my card sticky. And then you can put a couple more in the middle just to kind of keep that good. And then what I like to do is, I don't like to waste paper, so I want to line it up around the edges as much as I can. And then put it down. And then we're going to use our scissors. You could use fussy cut scissors, any type of scissors. Fussy cut is when you do very fine details in cutting. So right now we are just cutting the edges of the card. And we can worry about rounding it off later, and that is going to be a preference. And then when you flip it over, you now have your background. Okay, so there is our little pattern. See how that looks like a little Easter egg, and that's perfect for that little bunny to be hopping out of. And like I said, guys, it might take some practice, but start on your back, just draw out your project and then cut it out. And then you remember, most of crafting things is all about shape. So just to bring it up a little bit of a notch, I'm going to decorate this with just a piece of washi tape across. All right, guys, so once you have some like type of washi tape that may work with what you're working with, you can always hold it up. I just kind of grab a few out of my stash to see what will work well. I kind of like the colors, but I think just to give it a nice clean look, I think I'm going to use this one. So washi tape is found pretty much, I've seen them at Dollar Tree lately. You can find them at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, and while they're still open, Joann's. So I'm going to go ahead, and this one is kind of two-toned. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little stripe on that. And then you could either cut it or kind of fold up the sides. It's really up to you. There's no right or wrong. And because this next strip looks a little bit more purple, I think I'm going to do a second strip down here. Oops. And that will bring this out a little bit more to look like an Easter egg. Okay, and now I'm just going to trim off my edges. Okay, so when you have a project with 2 patterns, you don't want them to clash too much. So a good thing you can do is you can take a piece of either white or a solid color and put this on it and then cut another outline out, kind of like a die cut yourself, so that it won't clash a lot like the background. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, guys, that one was a little hard. So this is more like a fussy cut, what I was talking about earlier. It's just very, very detailed cutting. Okay, so now we have this on a somewhat of a solid color background. I just used this off-white. So now we have the base of the egg piece, and I think that looks like pretty much like an Easter egg. And I'm sorry about the lighting, guys. I will try to fix that lighting before I edit this. Okay, so next we need the bunny element. So we are going to take that same piece of scrap paper. This is why I say never, never, never throw away your scrap pieces. They can always be used. Paper is expensive sometimes, you guys, if you can't get it on sale. So I am just using my Distress Oxides for this. You can use Distress ink or whatever. You can use the different colors. I'm just going to use Espresso because I want sort of a brown bunny. Now, one thing I wanted to tell you guys is instead of cutting all this around, you could literally go in and just color the rabbit. Just ink up the rabbit and use the rabbit portion. So that's what I'm going to do. Even if it fills in some of those other flowers, we can always cut them out. But you do not always have to ink up your whole stamp. I'm kind of excited to see how the espresso looks with the rabbit. See how I'm going in and just getting those pieces. Right. And now we're going to stamp her out. Now these stamps are, I think I had these when I was like 8 years old, guys. I don't even think they have these stamps anymore, and if they do, you'd probably find them at a thrift store. They're foam, they're a little bit harder to work with. They still work just like a regular stamp, and there are all kinds of Easter stamps out there. You could even use stickers for this. You don't even have to use a stamp. I just love stamps. Okay, not bad. So we'll fill in some more details, but that's kind of what we wanted. Okay guys, I was doing a little bit of detail off camera and I kind of smudged his eye, so we're totally redoing it, but this time I'm actually showing you how to do it with a Marvy marker. I've put this link on my page before. This will actually let you only color in this part of the stamp that you want. So these are really good to have, especially when you're not going to be using all of the stamps. I did try to put a little pink in there. We'll try that again. Hold on here. Let's go ahead and we'll try this again and stamp her out. A lot of pressure with these foam stamps because they are, like I said, a little bit different than the wooden or the cling. But you want to make sure you get the details. Perfect. Okay, so you guys, what I'm doing here is I'm doing the fussy cutting. I know you've probably seen me do this so many times, but I just wanted to show you how close and detailed fussy cutting really is. I will say I was never really good at this. I still don't even think I'm that great at it. But I want you guys to know that you are not going to be perfect right off the bat. And if you are, you're awesome. Do not be afraid to do this and just start cutting out magazine articles. Just practice. I know some of us have arthritis in your hands. Sometimes using our hands, even though sometimes it can be painful, the more and more we exercise, the less and less pain usually we have. So, and you could always get, you know, somebody in your family to cut out things for you if that's not an option either. So don't get frustrated. Remember, this is your card and you can make it however you want. You don't even have to do the fussy cutting. Okay, so there is our bunny, and we'll color her in later because y'all, I have to get to bed. I got a plane to catch. So now we're going to put some of these little elements together. So let me show you how we are going to make this egg pop out from that bunny. Okay, you guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lay this bunny flat on my card. So let me show you. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue around the edges. And then I'm going to have this bunny pop up a little bit more toward the top because I want to leave some space in between the bunny and the egg to put some of this detail Easter grass in, okay? Now, to make your egg pop, we are going to use double-sided tape. You can get this from the Dollar Tree. They sell them, I think, in rolls of 3. Now, keep in mind, just because it is a certain width does not mean you can't change it. So I'm actually going to cut 2 long thin strips out of this. And you guys, this stuff sticks, so just be ready when you put it down, because once you put it down, that's it. It's going where it's going. As you can see, it's so sticky. Sometime today. Okay guys, sorry about that. So, as you can see, I struggled, but I got it. And this part is not going to matter. It's going to not even be in this shot. So now we're going to go ahead and, like I said, we're going to lower this under here. And this is where we're going to put it. And like I said, once you stick it, you're not going to be able to take it off. So I'm not sticking it yet. Now I'm going to work a little bit with my yarn that kind of looks like Easter grass. So you guys, I'm going to bunch this up in like little rows, if that makes sense. And I'm just going to get like a little bundle in my hand. And then I'm going to glue that piece right underneath my rabbit. So let me show you what I mean. Just a little can go a long way. So I'm going to go ahead and tie this off. If I can. My hands are still a little sticky, you guys. There. Now I have a little bundle here, right? Now we're not going to see all that. Remember, it's just going to stick out. So I'm going to take my glue at the thickest piece. Did not mean to grab that. And I'm going to put some glue on it. And yes, I'm using this glue because I trust it. It's awesome. The other alternative, which I will do, is either a hot glue gun, or you can use a little bit of tacky glue or Thick and Quick. I'll just put that on just for good measure. And then we're going to put it directly under the bunny. This egg wants to stick to me so bad, you guys. Even without me being live, this is driving me crazy. Okay, so there is kind of our Easter grass. It almost looks a little like a bow tie on him. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our egg bottom, and we can scoot some of this over a little bit. And then we're going to put our egg on top. And now it looks like that bunny is trying to get out of that. It looks like a little egg basket, right? It's so cute. You can't even tell he's holding an egg. So you can move it lower or higher if you want. Now, just because we use some of these colors, we could use some of these other colors. These are really pretty. I think I'm just going to put a nice little strip of washi tape down this side. Sometimes it helps to have somebody hold it if you got a buddy there with you. I like to pull it a little bit over the edge and then cut it. See, that matches the Easter egg. It's so cute, you guys. Now, if you have words or stickers, you can now put them on. I have a couple of hearts that I'm going to put on now. Actually, I think I'm just going to put the one, and I think I'm going to use a blue one just to kind of go with that background. There we are. And last but not least, you guys, I am using just a little bit of, this was already inked up with the Tim Holtz Distress ink. I believe it was the Worn lipstick. So I'm just going to lightly go up the bunny's ear. It's okay if it's not perfect, as long as it looks like there's color in there. There we go. And then we can go around the sides using any color we want. Let's see what I have here in front of me. We have the red speckle, not red speckle, the speckled egg. Let's use some of that. All right, you guys, I changed my mind. We're going to use the shaded lilac because there's a lot of purple in here, and I want to bring that out some more by just distressing the corners. So I just have a corner piece, just a corner piece. That's all we're going to need. And I'm just going to get that with the ink on it. And then I'm going to get my corners. And I'm just going to go in and just kind of define my edges. You can always use more ink in the corners or in the middle. Just gives it a little bit more detail. And since we already did those in there, we don't really need to do much with that. We need just a little bit more down here. There we go. Look at how cute it is. All right, you guys, and now I think we are ready to do the back. So all that's going to entail, I know a lot of you have asked me for this, so here it goes. All that's going to entail is basically taking our card and putting it on another plain sheet, which this should go. So we're going to take that card. Remember how I said doesn't matter if you use front or back. So I'm going to take this and just kind of get the four sides and up the middle. And I'm going to line this up just right so I don't have to do a whole lot of cutting. And I think that's going to line up pretty straight with my scrap piece here. Now we flip it over. Yep, it'll be perfect. So and remember, not everything is perfect, and that is okay too. So I'm just going to cut without cutting my front of my card. I'm just kind of doing it on the side. I'm just going to cut off just the sides. And remember, you do not have to be perfect. If you need to go back in and cut some more, you can. Sometimes I like to cut my backing a little bit smaller so it doesn't intrude on the front side. Okay, so now we have this plain backing. So what do? Well, there are two options. Just take a pen. You can just sign your name, and when you made it, you can give it a title. All of that can be handwritten, or you could use an ATC stamp. And these can be found on Amazon. They're all over the place. Not hard to find. I actually got mine from my beautiful friend Cheryl. So I am going to just use my inks, and I'm going to ink up the stamp. I do have this on a smaller surface. So let me actually change that so make it easier. This is a bigger block, so that's going to be easier to stamp. Okay, once you have that good and inked up, you will lay this down as flat as you can. And then you will stamp it out. Now, if you are doing a card, see, sometimes it doesn't always come out, but that's okay. You can always try to go in and fix it, or not. You can fill it in yourself, but that's fine. A lot of times it's good to stamp out your backs and just separately cut them and then glue them on the back, especially when you have cards that are kind of like 3D like this. So guys, that is our card. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and follow the page. If you are new here, I'd like to see you come back. And then also, if you guys are interested in trading groups, I can send you a list of ones that I belong to. And as always, every Thursday, usually live, we are on our page around 7 p.m. Next week is going to be country music. I can't wait to see you guys. See you next week. Bye.